You're considered the most liberal United States senator.
Somebody said that, and it actually was Mike Pence on the debate stage. But
yeah, well, actually, the nonpartisan GovTrack has rated you as the most liberal senator. You supported the Green New Deal. You supported Medicare for all.
At this point in time, it looks like Kamala Harris is going to be the Democrat nominee for 2024. And of course, the media, the bigwigs in the Democrat Party are all very excited and elated that someone young and vibrant and fresh and a woman and of color is going to be the nominee and can hopefully bring them victory. However, things are not going to go as they plan, as we're going to see in a little bit. So before we get to the video clips, please like and comment so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
I don't think that she's going to win. I think it's good for entertainment and us women and Black women at that.
Let me ask you a question. Would you vote for it?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm going to just be real honest with this. She's a Black woman.
Yeah.
Because they skin folk, not Kim folk.
Do you not see how that's a bad idea?
Elaborate.
Okay, so we're in 3 proxy wars with some of the most powerful leaders in the world. She failed at the border, in which we have an estimation of 15 to 20 million people illegally into this country. That is literally overtaking and bankrupting Chicago to the tune of over $400 million per year, and they're in a deficit. Oakland is going out of business. San Francisco ditto. California, $65 billion deficit. New York, they're literally cutting trash, in which they are the rattiest, dirtiest city, and they've taken up resources as far as free healthcare, free hotels to the tune of $600 a day. They're literally taking over your schools. Your taxpayer dollars are going to fund the migrant crisis. She was supposed to be in charge of this. We have a failing economy. Every single day I see people getting on the internet talking about $30 an hour is the new minimum wage because inflation is fucking out of control. At one point, it was at almost 10%, depending on what city that you in. She has no policy, no record to stand on. One of the biggest things that she did in her career was lock up more Black men than ever before. But we sitting here and vote her in office on identity politics. The very person that she was under as far as the president of the United States of America, she called him racist during a debate, which shows you how fake she is.
All right, so that's a clip from the Anton Daniels podcast, and here we have a woman admitting basically that, yeah, she's going to vote for Kamala Harris because she's Black, and that's exactly why they are endorsing, they meaning, of course, the Democrat Party machine, endorsing Kamala Harris is because she is a Black woman. They're hoping to get women to switch over and vote for the first woman president. They're hoping to get people of color, minorities, to jump over and vote for another Black president, right? It's the identity politics, as was being pointed out there by Anton so succinctly. Whenever people go out and vote for skin color or sex, what happens? Nothing good. You get a myriad of failures that don't end up helping the community instead of just pushing left-wing agendas. That's all that happens here. So get away from the identity politics. But of course, that's not going to stop Kamala Harris. And it's looking more and more certain that she is actually going to be the nominee every single day. As we can see over here, the Obamas have finally come out and endorsed Kamala Harris for president. They actually remained silent for quite a few days. I don't think they like her very much, and I don't think that they think she has a chance of winning. But either way, here they are now coming out with that full-throated endorsement. Now, things could change, of course, but it's looking like it's going to be more and more solid that, yes, Kamala Harris will be the nominee. However, the process of Democrats locking out voters in a primary to pick their nominee might end up blowing up in their faces. Check this out.
How do you feel about the process in which President Biden decided not to run for re-election?
Well, it would have been nice if he made this decision a year ago so we could have had a primary and maybe decided who we want to replace him rather than just all flocking to Kamala Harris.
I think by trying to clear the field and ensure that it was going to be Biden and make sure that there wasn't any sort of not allowing us to have an actual Democratic primary process, I'm not saying I think Kamala Harris is going to lose, but I do think that we would have been benefited significantly if he had figured this out far sooner, so there could have actually been more time to have in internal debate, have internal democracy within the party.
Well, I want to hear what y'all think of Vice President Harris as the nominee. Are you excited?
I am.
I am too.
I'll own it.
I'm fine with her.
Yeah. I don't feel like I know a lot about her, and I agree that I wish Biden had come to this decision sooner. But now that we are where we are, I think that's the best option for the party.
Do you feel more activated by the shift
Hopeful.
of candidates?
I feel activated. I don't like the process either. We started the conversation with there are people behind closed doors and curtains making the decisions for us, and it's supposed to be a process. We're supposed to be part of it. So that part I don't like on principle. That being said, she's the vice president and we're late in the game, and therefore we would have elected her into office by electing Biden, and therefore she's, there. She would have been president had he went to office and something happened, God forbid. I think what she brings is fresh. She was in office for 4 years, so she might not have the network, but she knows the network. She knows who the players are.
It just gives us a chance. She can win. I'm convinced that she has at least a 50-50 shot against Trump.
And now this, of course, is a progressive panel from Wisconsin. Now, are they going to vote for Kamala Harris? Absolutely 100%. However, they are upset at the prospect of not being able to pick their own candidate. Would it have been nice if Joe Biden had bowed out a year ago? Absolutely, right? I think he has done some detrimental damage to the Democrat Party. But that being said, Kamala Harris has now essentially been coronated, and they seem willing to rally around her, but they're still unhappy with the prospect, which honestly could make them just a smidge less likely to vote for her. All right. However, notice what they said, that at least she has a chance of winning, unlike Biden, right? For months, conservatives have been saying that Joe Biden is unpopular. He's not fit for office. He's not going to win. But only in the last couple of weeks have Democrats finally realized that after the disastrous debate, because all the powers that be kept all that information on lockdown. And of course, because they kept that information on lockdown, you are going to have a bit of a backlash. As we can see over here, over 3/5 of Americans believe Kamala Harris covered up Biden's health issues. Okay, so in other words, here's a woman who's supposedly in close proximity to Joe Biden, so she knows everything that he's about, and yet she is out there saying, oh, he's at the top of his game. He's perfectly fine mentally and physically. There are no problems. Well, guess what? Voters don't buy it, and it's going to reflect poorly on the democratic process. Check this out.
Who do you blame for President Biden being in office in this condition? Who deserves the blame?
His close staff. They work with him every day.
So I think that's what also makes me nervous about the Vice President Harris. Yeah.
Talk about that a bit.
So yes, she's going to be in it, but she also helped keep him in where he's at right now. And if he really is as bad as what they've been saying, I think if he steps down as president and she steps into the presidency before the end of his term, it almost makes me question a little bit more why it didn't happen sooner. She's worked with him. She's been, to my understanding, with him daily, or at least a couple of days a week. Why hasn't this been brought to attention if she's willing to hide that type of information once she's in office? Now what she's willing to hide for herself. And so I think that makes me a little bit uneasy, not necessarily that I wouldn't vote for her for it, but it definitely opens that questioning of why now? Why are you now being okay with exposing Biden's health concerns? Is it because it benefits you, or kind of what that line of questioning looks like?
Yeah, is it a power grab or?
Does anyone agree with Melissa's point that it calls into the vice president's judgment that she has been around while Biden's health has deteriorated?
100% agree. But it also seems like that's kind of how she carries herself. She kind of does what in the moment she needs to do to continue to move forward and move up.
So here we have a panel of swing voters in Wisconsin, and what are they saying? Oh, Kamala Harris essentially is untrustworthy. She is after power. She's going to do and say whatever she wants in order to move up that progressive ladder. And by the way, that was a point brought up by Anton Daniels in the first segment that we saw, right? Remember when Kamala Harris actually was in the presidential debates and she called Joe Biden a racist, right? But then she ended up working for him. She ended up being his VP, despite what she claimed. So yeah, it doesn't matter to her her. She is a clout chaser. She wants the power and she wants it badly. And people are recognizing that. Now, there's also some more good news. Basically, the bloom is off the rose with the Kamala Harris campaign. And this is going to be pointed out now by James Carville.
Right now, she's doing well, very well. And I think, but let's find out why she's doing very well. She's doing very well because 72% of the country wanted something different. And she is something different. So people are excited about it. I think there were 800,000 overnight donations. 60% were first-time donors. And that people were not expressing any policy agenda. They weren't expressing anything. They just wanted something other than Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And thank God that President Biden had the wherewithal to see that, and the party, we were out of time. It coalesced immediately behind the vice president, and I'm very, very happy about that. But I'm telling you, this is the best day that she's going to have for the rest of the campaign. They're coming.
Now, what's being pointed out there by James Carville, and rightly so, is that yes, Kamala Harris's best days of her campaign, they're officially behind her. Now she has to actually get out there and speak and fundraise. And the more she does that, the more you're going to see her cackles, the more you're going to see her word salads. Maybe she'll get some better speechwriters, who knows? But as we've seen in the past, she is not very good at speaking in public. She can put words together, but they're nonsensical. Although I do find it funny how James Carville says, oh, Biden had the wherewithal to, recognize it was time for him to go. No, he was forced out. There was a soft coup in the Democrat Party against the sitting president. So he is gone for that reason and that reason alone. And here they are now stuck with Kamala Harris, for good or for bad. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay safe out there, people, as they're coming after you.